I want to get started with this story about Donald Trump and this leaked audio. Now, I do want to say right off the bat, it was pretty interesting to me, the number of people who shared that video and poked holes at the audio and said, look, it's proof, it's proof. He knew. But there was one piece in this conversation, in this leaked audio, that I believe went unnoticed by a lot of people. And we need to talk about that. Let's go ahead and get started with this clip here from Anderson Cooper, diving into this Trump leaked audio story.
Good evening. We begin tonight with breaking news. We have obtained what is expected to be a central piece of the government's case against Donald Trump. The actual audio recording of the former president talking as if he's showing a highly classified document on U.S. war plans against Iran with people not cleared to even know it exists, let alone what's in it. In a moment, only on CNN, you will hear what jurors will hear one day. The recording was made 2 summers ago, July 2021, at the former president's club in Bedminster, New Jersey. You will clearly hear the former president as he is speaking to several people. According to the special counsel's indictment, they include a writer working on Mark Meadows' memoir, the publisher, and 2 of Trump's staff members. The president was aware he was being recorded. This is the first time it is being played publicly.
I just want to pause right there and chime in for just a second. He just told you that Donald Trump was well aware that he was being recorded. So if this was something that I think Trump wanted to remain secret, notice the title of the video is "This is Secret Information." I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have said the things that he said. So just keep that in mind. He knew he was being recorded. It's not like this was a sneak attack. Listen to this.
These are bad, sick people.
That was your coup, you know, against you.
Well, it started right at the
like
beginning.
when Millie's talking about, oh, you were going to try to do a coup. No, they were trying to do that before you even were sworn in.
That's right.
Trying to overthrow your election.
Well, with Millie, let me see that. I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack Iran. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look. This was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him.
Wow.
We looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff. It's pages long. Look. Wait a minute. Let's see here.
Yeah.
I just found, isn't that amazing? This totally wins my case, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Except it is like highly confidential, secret. This is secret information. But look at this. You attack.
Let's pause right here. This is the part right here where a lot of people are focusing on. This statement here by Donald Trump where he says this is secret information. Look at this. This is secret information. A lot of people are taking this video and they're pointing just at that part and they're saying, see, he knew. He knew that those were secret documents and he was not supposed to obviously move them. But they're missing an important piece of this conversation, which happened right at the very beginning of the audio. And I think they're doing this on purpose. Let me go ahead and go back. I want to show you one of the most important pieces of this audio that people really need to pay attention to.
These are bad, sick people.
That was your coup, you know, against you.
Well, it started right at the
like
beginning.
when Millie's talking about, oh, you were going to try to do a coup. No, they were trying to do that before you even were sworn in.
That piece right there. One of the most important messages from this audio is the fact that the Department of Defense, they were trying to push him to do a coup. They were trying to push him to start a war. And most people who listen to this audio, I've seen it all on social media, they looked right over this. Went whoop, right over their head. Right over their head. How do you miss that? It's at the beginning. Let's go on. Listen.
Right. Trying to overthrow your election.
Well, with Millie, let me see that. I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack Iran. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look. This was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him.
That piece right there as well. The mentioning in those documents that apparently Donald Trump wanted to start some conflict with Iran. And he goes on to say, no, that was him. Look at it here. That was him and the Department of Defense. I don't understand how people have looked right over this information. That's very problematic. Remember, yes, Trump is not innocent here. Yes, there were things that Trump did in reference to militarism, drone strikes, etc. Yes, he also aided, approved to give money to Ukraine as well. Not billions of dollars is happening now, but he didn't start any new wars. And this audio right here reveals that the Defense Department was trying to push him to do just that. And this goes right over everyone's head. Let's continue.
Wow. We looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff. It's pages long. Look. Wait a minute. Let's see here. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I just found, isn't that amazing? This totally wins my case, Except it is like highly confidential, secret. This is secret information. But look at this. You attack. And
Hillary would print that out all the time,
she'd send it, no, she'd send it to Anthony Weiner.
Yeah.
See, they're laughing and making a joke about it here, but let's remember Hillary Clinton's emails, right? Bill Clinton also handled declassified information. It wasn't just Donald Trump who has done this. But of course, as we've known from history, the Clintons remain untouched, regardless of what they do. How else does Bill Clinton get to stay in office after having an affair with an intern in the White House? In the White House. How? They remain untouched. So why isn't Hillary Clinton being, dragged through the ringer for accessing those emails on a personal server? Why isn't she being antagonized the same way that Donald Trump is? Why wasn't Bill Clinton being antagonized for also accessing declassified information? Why wasn't he brought through the ringer the same way that Donald Trump was? These are the questions that people need to ask. And by asking that question, that doesn't mean that you agree with Donald Trump. That doesn't mean that you support Donald Trump, but it does show you that there is a level of hypocrisy here. Let's go on.
By the way, isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
I was just saying, because we were talking about it. And, he said he wanted to attack Iran and what? These are the papers. This was done by the military, given to me.
That part right there. Wanted to attack Iran. This was done by the military and then given to me. It was the military who was pushing to do that. What did I tell you? The MIC. Maybe that's part of the reason why they're not too happy with Donald Trump. See, everything comes to light.
I think we can probably, right?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to try to
Declassify.
figure out
See, as president, I could have declassified
Yeah.
it. Now I can't, but this is
Yeah,
classified.
now we have a problem.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It's so cool. I mean, it's so, we here and I have, and you probably almost didn't believe me, but now you believe me.
No, I believe
It's
you.
incredible, right?
No,
Hey, bring some Cokes in, please.
See this piece right here? Watch this.
I mean, it's so, we here and I have, and you probably almost didn't believe me, but now you believe me.
No, I believe
It's
you.
incredible, right?
No, they never met a war they didn't want. You see that?
Hey, bring some Cokes in, please.
Well, joining us now, CNN anchor and chief correspondent Caitlin Collins, also our senior legal affairs correspondent Paula Reed. Caitlin, first of all, what do you make? This is the first time we are hearing this audio. We'd seen a transcript. There's more in this audio than we actually had seen, I think, in the transcript. What stands out to you?
Yeah, there is.
How do we know this is actually the first time they heard that audio? How do we know that? I saw the audio. I heard the audio on Twitter before it aired on CNN. So am I really supposed to believe this is their first time hearing this audio? Am I really supposed to believe none of these people on CNN actually access Twitter or Facebook or anything like that? I don't buy it. Listen
There's
to
more
this.
in this, and this is a 2-minute clip of what a recording that we're told is over an hour long. But this is, of course, the part that is at the center of Jack Smith's investigation. And we knew about this. CNN first reported that this existed and that Jack Smith's prosecution had it in their hands. But to hear it, I think really just drives home and it undercuts everything that Trump has been saying. I mean, even as of a few days ago, he was saying there was no document per se, but you can hear him very clearly in there referencing something in his hands.
You can hear him shuffling through papers.
And he's not just saying, here's this document. He very clearly appears to be showing it to them.
He
of
says,
course,
look.
Only the people in the room could know that, but you can hear in that why this is so critical to Jack Smith's case, because it's Trump acknowledging, I have this document. It is secret. It is classified. I cannot declassify it now because he's 6 months out of office. And it's just remarkable to hear him actually saying it. And I was talking to someone in Trump's orbit about this because obviously a lot of people, several people in his orbit have heard it themselves when they found out about it in mid-March. And we were talking about comparing it kind of to the Access Hollywood tape, how if you just had a transcript of that, it wouldn't have been maybe as, controversial and contentious as it was when you could actually hear it. Yeah. Same with this. The fact that, we could read the transcript, but hearing it, I think, drives it home so much more.
So we're just going to ignore the fact that on that transcript, you actually hear him admit that the military was trying to push him into starting a war. We're just going to ignore that the military was trying to push him into starting a conflict with Iran. Do you see why mainstream media is so problematic? What I just told you is the same thing they should have told you. But they're not going to do that because they're in bed with the military industrial complex as well.
Paula, you've reported extensively on this case. What's your reaction to actually hearing that audio?
Anderson, it's remarkable how casual this conversation is. The former president knew he was being recorded during this meeting. His own aides were in the habit of recording him anytime he talked to journalists or people working on books. And in the room with him were 2 people who were working on an autobiography for Mark Meadows. But even though he knows he's being recorded, you hear him sort of casually discussing classified documents, admitting that he cannot declassify these. And then just a few moments later, calling to someone to bring them some Coke. It's very conversational. That's one of the things that really sticks out to me. And I think it's important for people to really hear exactly.
Then why do you refer to it as this is secret information? That's what it says. The title of this video, this is secret information. How is it secret when he knew that he was being recorded? Also, by the time that CNN reported this video had already made its way through Twitter. Okay. So Twitter first, CNN second. Honestly, that's usually when it comes to news, I'll see that shit circle and cycle on Twitter before I'll see it on CNN, just to be honest with you. So how was this secretive information? It wasn't. That was just a way to get people to click on this video.
Exactly what this sounds like. There's a lot of laughter in that recording as well. One of the other things that stands out to me is the fact that he and the people around him in that room were joking about former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server. That is something we previously didn't know about because it was not included in the indictment. Now, from a legal standpoint, it makes sense that prosecutors wouldn't include that, right? Because it's not incriminating, it's not really relevant to their case. But in the court of public opinion, the fact that he's making jokes about Hillary Clinton, other people in the room making jokes about Anthony Weiner as well, that I think really comes off as some hubris. We have the benefit of hindsight here, right? Now this is being used as a key piece of evidence in a federal prosecution.
And Caitlin, there's
You can't make jokes about Hillary Clinton? Is that what it? We can't make jokes about Hillary Clinton?
there is that moment where he says, that these are the papers, and you can hear them. And I want to play that again because it's instructive to actually kind of visualize what he's doing. Let's play this.
I was just saying, because we were talking about it, and he said he wanted to attack Iran and what? These are the papers. This was done by the military, given to me.
That wasn't in the indictment. That part of it, I think, was not in the indictment. Why do you think that is?
It's unclear. What he's talking about there, that he, for people who aren't watching it super closely, is Chairman Mark Milley, the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And he's basically saying, this is proof that he wanted to attack Iran, not me. We should note that the document that is in question here, we are told it was predated Milley. It wasn't actually something that he produced. But it speaks to something that we've heard, the former national security officials in Trump's orbit talk about, which is this is not just any kind of information, any kind of document. This is the nation's secrets, which don't just change on a daily basis. You don't just come up with a new attack plan for Iran.
In other words, they don't want you to know that they're trying to plan to start another conflict abroad.
He is just brandishing you proudly to random people in the room. These are random autobiographers who are working for Mark Meadows that are in the room. They don't have security clearances that he's showing this to. And I think this audio changed a lot about the way that Trump's legal team viewed this case. They told me, and Paula and I and our other colleague Kayla, we've been covering this for months. We had heard they weren't worried about this investigation, that they had this argument that, he just took what he had with him. It wasn't nefarious. He's trying to use that now, saying it's just golf clippings. You can see there, he knows exactly what he has. He knows that it's not declassified. It's his own words.
And it's why he is.
And so did Hillary Clinton, and so did Bill Clinton. They knew exactly what they had. They knew exactly what they were doing, but you do not see that same type of energy brought towards the Clintons, and it's a big part of the problem. Like I said, they always seem to remain untouched. It's not just the affair with Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, someone who's an intern. It's not just that. It's also the fact that there was the Whitewater scandal with the Clintons. Again, they always seem to just walk away unscathed. And people need to start asking why. Why is it that when they do these things, they get to walk away from it? But other people, how dare you? You're held accountable, or they try to hold you accountable in some way, shape, or form. So you have the Clintons. You also have Joe Biden, who also had to admit publicly a couple months ago that he had classified documents, some of them in his garage, he pointed out. So where's this same type of energy towards Joe Biden? You see why the problem with the mainstream media is so problematic here. They're so biased. And this is why people will say this is a witch hunt. This is why people will say that they're trying to make an example out of Donald Trump, because we don't see you applying it to other people who just happen to be a part of the Democratic Party. Something to think about. They really do believe that by revealing this type of information, this is actually going to make people not want to support Donald Trump and make him more unpopular in the public's eye. But that's not working. In fact, it's doing the exact opposite. It's making him more popular. That's why he's ahead of Joe Biden right now in the polls. Very interesting. Thank you so much for the super sticker, 2008 B. Scott. Dwayne says, such complete hypocrisy. And thank you for this. Notice how they deflect away from the fact that Trump wasn't interested in the war and towards petty legal technicalities. The MIC is not something they can discuss on CNN. Exactly. And that's what I want people to take away from that audio discussion. Not just the fact that he admits that he has classified information, but what he said was in the information, and the fact that the military was trying to push him to start another war. And that's what people need to take away from this. I'm sorry. It is what it is at this point.